People don't suffer for no reason. And that's the exact thought I can't get out of my head after losing my brother. My brother spent his entire life being labeled problem child, mentally ill, schizophrenic, difficult, crazy, bipolar, you name it. And just maybe some of those labels explained some pieces of his struggle, but none of them ever explained who he was. My brother was not crazy, at least not in the way that most people said he was. But none of them explained who he actually was. Because what I saw underneath, I saw a little boy who just wanted to be loved. I saw a man who remembered breaking a friend's toy decades earlier and still carried the guilt of it. I saw someone who wanted to win the lottery, not so he could buy things for himself, but he wanted to help the people that had helped him because it would give him such a fulfilling feeling. I saw someone who would stand in front of authority figures and refuse to confess to things that he did not do. That takes courage. I saw someone who cried when we reunited. I saw someone who felt everything more deeply than most people ever will. And I watched a world who kept reducing him down to paperwork, a chart, a case file, a diagnosis, a problem to solve, a label. The truth is, Patrick didn't spend his life fighting one battle. He fought 1,000 tiny battles. Every time someone dismissed him, every time someone assumed that they knew who he was or what he was even about, every time someone explained away his experiences, every time someone decided what he needed without even asking him what he actually needed or wanted. And all those little cuts, they add up. Because one cut doesn't destroy a person, but 10,000 cuts do. I sat beside him in hospitals. I sat beside him in psych wards. I sat beside him in courtrooms, and I watched him try to explain himself. I watched people stop listening. I watched people dismiss him. And I watched him become smaller every time someone told him his voice did not matter. And the saddest part, most people never even knew Patrick. They never even met him. They met his label, because that's what walked into the rooms before he did. The label spoke before he ever could. The label became his story. Not the man, not the man, not the brother who I knew, not the brother who was so kind and caring and soft and sweet, not the brother who somehow turned every disaster into an adventure, not the brother who disappeared at Costco without a membership card, because apparently all you need is confidence and a shopping cart. Not the brother who believed God visited him on a roller coaster during surgery. Not the brother who searched for meaning in everything. Not the brother who spent years trying to make amends with everybody. Not the brother who never stopped hoping, who never stopped creating, who never stopped trying. People say mental illness looks like my brother. Maybe that's true, but I think something else took pieces of him too. Years of being misunderstood. Years of being dismissed. Years of being treated like a condition instead of a human being. Years of not feeling safe. And after this funeral that we had last week, someone told me that my eulogy helped them understand people that they work with every single day. They said for the first time that they understood the inside of the person instead of only seeing the outside, the problem, the label. And that's exactly why I'm making this video, because there are people all around us carrying all these burdens, labels, and misidentities that we mistake as crazy, addict, bipolar, schizo, difficult, broken. And behind every single one of those labels is a human being, a story, a wound, a trauma, a child who once wanted to be loved. My brother's name was Patrick, not a diagnosis, not a case file. Patrick. And I wish more people had taken the time to know who he was before it was too late. Because what I saw wasn't a diagnosis. It was not a label. I saw a little boy who always wanted to be loved, like you. Patrick was not any different than anyone else. He just wanted what we all want: love, connection, safety. I saw how people failed him. I saw how the system failed him. But he's only one of many. My brother's name was Patrick. And he wasn't the only one. And we weren't the only ones. And I know it happens daily where there's not any help. My brother's name was Patrick. And he was lovely.